Yes, okay. All right, so let's start or continue. Light Through the Darkness from Karen Berg. So this is what she woke us up with. In the Zohar, written more than 2,000 years ago, described the 21st century. So that which was 2,000 years old in its written form, describing our time as a period where there are two aspects of consciousness that would prevail: Oy and Ashrei, woe and blessed. Oy, the woe, refers to the mindset of people who experience this world without spirituality, who do not understand the need for a change in consciousness. Ashrei, blessed, refers to the consciousness of people who experience this world as a spiritual place, who take responsibility for what they contribute to the collective. Take responsibility for what they contribute to the collective, and who work hard to transform their nature to practice greater love and tolerance. Everyone caught the main word? Greater, right? Don't let Satan tell you that parasite in your mind mean you're not. Just we all can do more, can we not? Anyone here doesn't think they can have more tolerance, more love, more kindness? Okay, good. How about you out there in cyberspace? Okay, they're all agreeing with us. In the consciousness of Ashrei, we as human beings understand that we have an inherent ability to evolve ourselves. Rav Ashlag calls this ability the governance of heaven and describes it as follows. The Creator has bestowed wisdom and governance upon humans and has enabled them to take the said law of evolution under their own authority and own governance, and in doing so, allows one to greatly accelerate the process of evolution according to His will, not God, His meaning us, our will, and in complete freedom and independence with respect to the limitation and time. Everyone got it? We have absolute control over our life. We are the ones who are deciding what comes our way, what we experience, etc. Doesn't mean, just for those of you who are new or newer, doesn't mean that we made people treat us badly, that we caused those things in that way. But from our point of view, it goes back to the old saying, if life hands you a lemon, you can either cry over the sour lemon hitting you, or you can make lemonade. It's our choice. And that's what she's saying. So the oy, the woe, is when a person just lets it hit him and thinks, oh, why me? Woe is me, my problem, my trouble, what am I going to do? Why did God do this to me, etc. The ashrei is, wow, I can make $1 now out of this lemon because I make lemonade and sell it. Is it the same experience? Physically. Yeah, it's the same thing. Somebody threw a lemon, hit you. But what comes from it is in our own hands, and that's the governance of earth. That's what Rav Ashlag is teaching us, all the Kabbalists have been teaching us, and of course, as Karen has been doing all along, giving us a little bit of motivation, a little bit of preset ideas, thoughts for today's message. Always comes like attracts like. So here we start with this lovely saying we've all heard before, probably just didn't know that it came from the Zohar. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Yes, it's right out of the Zohar. Okay, now, how many of us would ever think we don't have good intent? Certainly all of you, all of us, all the people in the center, I truly believe had good intention. They want to make the world better, they want to be better people, etc., etc. Okay, so how does that create hell? So let's start like this. As we always do, we want to make it very impactful on your life. Because if it's just theory, if it's just intellectual understanding, so what? We don't even need it. But we want to bring this wisdom into a level that we can practice it every day. So let's just start like this, and I hope it's okay with you. Think of some hellish experience you're going through now. It doesn't have to be major hell. It could be a little bit, right? But that which is confusing, it's troubling you, it's kind of leaving you a little disturbed, etc. So think of that. You all have one too? Okay. Because what we want to talk about today is the understanding that even hell leads us to heaven. There's no such thing Kabbalistically as eternal hell. It could feel eternal, but you and I know 5 minutes can feel like hours and hours, right? But it's still 5 minutes. But there is no eternal hell. Even hell, Kabbalistically, will no matter what lead us to heaven. So then let's start like this. The Kabbalists teach us there's only two paths in life, two choices in life. There's the path of the light, the path of the opponent. Meaning there's the path of revealing my light, the light that the Creator gave me, or concealing it. My choice, reactive, proactive, ego-based, self-centered type of behavior, or sharing behavior. Be like God. Those are the two paths. Now, it also says that whichever way a person wants to go, meaning whatever's in our thoughts, the universe will guide us and lead us in that direction. So a person wants to go the way of the light, truly wants to go the way of the light, the universe will lead them in that path. Person wants to go the way of the ego, comfort, give me, right? I just have to live my life and I don't care so much about other people. Again, all of us are also partly on that path, but we are not, the mean, nasty, rotten, greedy type of people behavior of people we see out there, but we have our aspects of it, right? Where we get involved in, I got to deal with my life, my family, my world, etc., right? Without thinking necessarily of other people. That's what we're here to overcome. That's the part we're here to change. Because why? What's the difference? If all roads are going to eventually lead, if hell will lead us to heaven, so what's the big deal? We're going to see. What's the price? What's the price? Because every action that we do sets up a consequence. There is no action without a consequence. So this is where it's leading us on one path or the other. Another way, what's the difference between the path of the light and the path of the opponent, of Satan, the adversary? And remember, we are not Satan. Unfortunately, even people in the center come to fail to hold that consciousness. Satan is a parasite. That's why I like the word parasite. Because the moment we say, oh, somebody had a parasite, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to get out of it, right? You want to take that parasite out. If a person thought it was actually a piece of themselves, then they'd never want to get rid of it. So we need to understand that voice in our head that's telling us all the reactive, selfish, self-centered, doubt, insecure thoughts, it's not real. It's not the real us. I don't want to go in now. Go back to Kabbalah 1. You'll understand why we created it, what its purpose is to help us get from hell to heaven. But if we don't know it and we don't understand it, then we'll be stuck in heaven in hell a little too long. So now, here's the other way we can look at the path of hell, the path of Satan, the path of the opponent. To get to heaven, we need the opponent's permission. We need permission from, I don't want to say it because some of you who are newer might misconstrue it, but let's put it this way. It's as if we need the disguise of the opponent, that parasite, called the devil, to get to heaven. But the path of the light, we don't need permission. But now let's come to understand. So reactivity, when a person does something reactive, means they've given in to the parasite in their head. They're doing the self-centered, angry, jealous thing. Anyone here in this room or you watching around the world, anyone here this last week ever had a thought of blaming somebody else for something happened in your life? Okay, right? How about felt a little insecure about something this week? Okay, few people keep raising their hands. Felt a little angry, a little jealous, a little judgmental. Okay, so think about, now we want to be conscious. Remember, we say consciousness is everything. The Zohar says to be conscious is everything, because it's the only way we can take ourselves out of hell and get into heaven. The only way we can take ourselves out of the chaos of this world and have peace and harmony, even among the chaos that's going on around us. So when a person is doing something reactive, not just thinking it, our life is not predicated, or let's say the cause and effect doesn't happen just on our thoughts. Yes, consciousness is everything. Why? Because eventually, holding on to those negative thoughts, heaven forbid, eventually will cause the person to do a negative action. Then cause and effect sets in. But the negative thought itself does not bring the negative effect. The actions do. That's why, what do we say? Actions speak louder than words. Okay, a little bit, because a word is still a form of manifestation, but you understand the thought itself, no, bad thought, not a big deal. But hold on to that bad thought long enough, we all know, eventually it'll become an action. So now what does that do though? Now on our two paths. When a person does something reactive, they've taken their divine energy, they've taken the light that the Creator gave us in the endless world, and the power of free will, and they've used it to do what? Give power to the opponent. Give power to the chaos. Give power to the negativity. And so what does this opponent, this adversary do? Metaphorically on our path, he sets up toll booths. I was trying to think of the best analogy. Toll booth, right? Because when you're driving down the road and you come to a toll booth, what do you have to do if you want to continue? You got to stop and you got to pay. If you want to continue down that road, you got to pay. So that's what happens. Every reactive behavior, cause and effect, sets up a toll booth. Those of you who know the term a klipa, a blockage, that we then have to pay in order to continue down the road. Now, what happens when a person doesn't pay? Let's not go there. They just get stuck, right? They come to the toll booth and they just sit there, they get stuck. Stuck and stuck and stuck. So how many of you have ever had repetitive patterns? How many of you could look at your life? A little blame. So all of a sudden when you're blaming, there's always somebody else to blame, another thing to blame, someone else to blame. Why? Because you're not paying. You're just standing at the toll booth going, why can't I get past this? Well, who gave it power to be created in the first place? We did. So we have to pay. You follow the permission, so to speak, to pass. Person, heaven forbid, steals. They get caught. They get put in jail. They exercise their free will to steal. Now the free will is taken away. Why? Because they're in jail. In order to get out of jail, what do they need? Quote, permission, right? They have to pay their debt to have permission to leave the jail. It's all the same thing. So the jail is the repetitive patterns. Tell me you don't feel that. Think back, because hopefully it's not too bad anymore, especially for us. But think back on those times you've been in the same situation over and over and over again. But one time it looked like this person or this job or this place. Another time it was something else. So the disguise, or if you will, the clothing changed, but the essence was there. Same thing. How come everybody's out to cheat me? How come everybody out to cheat me? How come everybody out to cheat me? You see over and over, this one, this one, this one. I thought I got rid of them. Then somebody else came along, something else came along, something like that. You ever had that? Doesn't it feel great and wonderful? Makes you feel like you're in heaven, yes? No, that's hell on earth. That's the hellish existence. But who created the hell? Now you understand why. We gave our power away to Satan, the opponent, and he just created these blockages. Toll booth, jail, whichever metaphor you want to understand. So we cannot continue down the road until we pay the toll. Meanwhile, on the other side, there's the path of the light. And what's the difference between what's the path of the light? The path of the light is there's no blockage, there's no toll road, or there's no toll booths. It's just free because the Creator gave us power in the endless world. He gave us the ability to choose, free will. And as long as we're choosing, acting like the light, in every circumstance, no matter what, unconditionally, no toll booths. Why? Because we're not giving our power to the opponent to build a toll booth. The opponent has no free will to build a toll booth. It can taunt people, tempt people to give away their power so he can create the toll booths. The prison, the blockages, the being trapped in the same movie. You know the movie Groundhog Day? So you remember that? Okay, so think what would happen if, it continued on another 6 years, that every day he woke up the same thing, but he didn't see he was the common factor. He was the center of the story, or she was the center of the story. This is what you and I are learning here from Kabbalah 1 forward. We are the center of our universe. Not in an ego way, like other people don't matter or I don't care about them, but everything that goes on around me and how I see it is only me. Only me. And that's why, as we read from Karen, those of you who just showed up here in cyberspace, go back and listen to the beginning. Karen says there are two choices. Two things are going to be experienced at the end of time. The time we are now. Blessed or woe, oi. How can it be the same if we're looking at the same world? If we're living basically in the same place, because it's our consciousness determines. Do you let the lemon hit you and blame the other person and scream at the other person and blame God why it happened to you? Or do you just pick up the lemon, you make lemonade and make a few bucks out of it? It's our choice. It's our choice. So how do you pay your toll? Because a lot of us have been trapped in the same thing over and over again. And if you believe, which I hope you do, or at least go study in past lives, people repeat the same pattern, the whole same lifetime. You and I, okay, in this life, we're familiar with, challenges. I know somebody, I think I've shared here and there, had a relative that many, many years ago when he was in the workforce, had the consciousness of blame. He was better, everybody else was terrible. So everybody else was the problem, right? And the cause for his trouble. He couldn't stand the job because everybody was worse, the boss was no good, this and this, and he'd leave a job and he'd go to another job. Oh, great job for about 5 minutes, and then the same thing. The boss is no good, the coworkers are no good. This went on for 10, 12 different jobs till he finally decided he never passed the toll booth the way we were speaking about it. All he did was he just stayed in the one job, put up with all the trouble and all the problems, still thinking that he knew better than everybody else, but he had to have retirement money. He had to have a pension. So he stayed in the job 20 years so he could retire. You want to be like that? Because he's still trying to. He's a loving person. If he's watching, he knows who he is, right? He's a wonderful person. I love him tremendously. But you can see trapped in that same thing. So if in this lifetime a person could do it and it's hell, imagine what happens if it's lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. No wonder people come into this world already feeling it's hell on earth. And why bother? And they don't belong here and they don't want to be here. So how do you pay? How do you pay? How do you pay the toll booth? Okay. But the first thing you got to do, you got to arrive. Right? You arrive at the toll booth, then you say, how much does it cost? So in our life, in human daily life terms, what does that mean? You got to be confronted. Your toll booth has to jump at you. So if you got angry at somebody and screamed at them, and you set up a toll booth of anger, what's going to have to happen for you to pay back? Somebody's got to come and... It's the added pain and suffering that ultimately is the difference, right? Got to be smacked by life and then say, oh, I got to pay. So what's the pay? Yeah, once a person is smacked, once the challenge jumps in the person's life, confronts them, can't go around it. The only way you can go through it and advance is by paying it off, which means what? As we learned Kabbalah 1, somebody says something that hurts your feelings and you're ready to scream and yell. What is the first thing? Pause, stop, right? The traditional way is count 10, right? Stop and count 10. That's the pause, is it not? Pause. But when I heard that before I came to Kabbalah, I could pause, right? I could stop and count 10. Because in that counting 10, I could think of all the ways I could do more damage to that person. It was just giving, you know what I'm saying? It was just like putting it on hold. It wasn't change. It wasn't transformation. I just think, okay, you know what? How can I get back at them better? That was one way, but maybe there's something juicier. And then you just let it go. So it's not really change. You and I are learning the same thing. Pause, count 10, but while you're counting 10, realize, wait a second, this is my toll booth. They have their own toll booth they're facing right now. That's their job to pay. Mine is my job. Just like when you see a line of toll booths, right? You're going out of the airport. There's 3 or 4 booths you can play. You can play them too. You got to pay. So the guy in the next one, are you paying attention to that person? Are they paying? Are they not paying? Are they arguing with? No, you want to pay your toll and get out. Yes? So the other person, whatever they said or did, your toll booth. Anger. Pause. I have anger. What's the antidote to anger? What's the only way to turn that darkness of anger into light? Tolerance, kindness, compassion, forgiveness. Pay my toll. Now I can advance. Now I can go beyond that point in my life. You want to know if you're growing and evolving? Don't look at the outside circumstances, because the opponent will also do that. Here's our toll booth, right? The person who keeps giving away their power, not pay the toll, but giving more power to the opponent, he'll just now create, oh, here on the side of that toll booth, here's a nice little refreshment stand, right? Oh, now you're busy with the refreshment stand. Or here's a nice little new job, here's a new relationship, here's a new whatever. It's not advancement. You didn't go past the toll booth, but he makes it look like it's okay to be at that spot and not advance. I hope you're all getting that idea, because we all live it to some extent. So pay has to be, one, the pause, which is uncomfortable, because when my momentum is going that I want to just scream and yell like I've done before, not easy to pause. Is it? No, it's not easy. And then it comes the second part. Ask the light for help. Okay, give me strength to act with compassion and kindness. Not so much even for them per se, so that I can move past this toll booth. I can go to my next level. Yes, we know in the big picture they will also be impacted by the light we share. But I don't have to focus on, okay, what do I do for them? No, the same way I don't want to look at what did they do to me. No, I want to be beyond that, beyond my five senses. They didn't do it to me. They didn't do it to me. They just happen to be grumpy about their own life in front of me. My opponent said, well, take it personally, and now be grumpy back. No, I want to advance. So I pay. What about the light? The light, we said no toll. You go down here. For those of you who are outside of Florida, pick whatever road you're on if you have a toll road. So here we have something called a sun pass, right? A sun pass means it's prepaid. Let's put it that way. It's prepaid. So you go down the road and there's pull off in front of the toll booth and pay your toll. Or if you have a sun pass, you can just keep going straight. That's the path of the light. The light, you don't need permission. You just keep going because the road is open. It's we who built the toll booth in our life. We said it's us by our reactive behavior. It's not God. God doesn't put those things in front of us. God has an open road. You and I are the ones who put the toll booths in, those blockages and obstacles. Yes, if you're new and I can hear your voice going, no, I didn't, no, I didn't, no, I didn't. When you stop and honestly think about it, look back. In fact, go on the YouTube channel, Spiritual Sunday, look something called Don't Take the Pen. Watch that video and you'll understand what I mean. It's all our free will. It's all our free will. We decide. Yes, like the lemon. Did we tell them to hit us with a lemon? No. But once they hit us with a lemon, now it's our free will and our choice. So the path of the light is pay up front. Pay up front. How are you going to do that? So let me ask. How many of us right here, right now, can acknowledge at least two reactive behaviors? We know we have a little ego, a little limitation, we have a sense of lack, we have a little jealousy, we have judgment, we have guilt and shame. Should I name some more, or is that enough to pick two? If you're a Libra, you're like me, you're going, I don't know, they all fit. I can see them all. I don't know which to pick. Okay. So just think of that now. What's the sun pass? What's prepaying? What's just cruising right down that path of the light to get to your heaven on earth faster? Think. So like we said, okay, let's pick jealousy. So you have jealousy. You're willing to acknowledge you have this tendency towards jealousy. Don't wait for the toll booth to show up. Isn't that why you buy a sun pass? Isn't that why we do preventative health measures and things like that? So we don't have to be stuck in the fixing, curing, and handling. You do it up front. Pay ahead. So how do you pay ahead if you know you have jealousy? One, Start thinking and appreciating consciously all the blessings you have in your life. Now, start looking around at other people, anyone that you could have jealousy towards, and before you have that feeling of jealousy or it's thrown in your face, go out, be grateful, happy for their good. Be happy for their good. Whether you say it to them or you're just meditating and sending them your blessing of light to be happy with their good. Whichever way, pay up front. Like the sun pass, if you paid up front, the antidote for jealousy, gratitude, appreciating your blessings, even bless them for the good that's in their life. Then you don't have to have the toll booth. You don't have to have that pain. You don't have to have that thing that confronts you. That then you have to have the added, as they call it, pound of flesh problem, that added pain of that situation. No, you right away, you've already paid up front. The Rav used to say very simply, my teacher, our teacher, the Rav Berg, he says, you either pay up front with a discount or you pay later with a penalty, but everybody pays. You drive down that road, you either pay at the toll booth or you prepaid and you just fly right by. Clear? So think, what's the practicality of this? It's not easy. Nobody says Kabbalah is easy. In fact, it's probably the toughest spiritual system to work with. But as tough as it is, like you're hearing a little bit of now, it's also on the other side of that transformation, it's the most rewarding. Because it's giving us the ways and means, the tools and the wisdom, how to speed up the process, how to get to heaven on earth now. Because if we get there now, we enjoy it longer, right? Why do you pay your sun pass? So when you're driving in a time of traffic, right, when they're lined up 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 people waiting to pay the toll, you zip right by. So if you drive the same, you're going to arrive at your destination faster. So you enjoy being there faster, heaven on earth faster, longer. You follow? That's the idea. And along the way, it was more merciful. Because if you didn't pay your toll up front and you're sitting in that line thinking, well, there's only going to be 1 or 2 people, but now you find a line of 10 people, bless you, tell me that we don't honestly have a little bit of frustration along the way. Oh, I wanted to go. I knew I should have bought that sun pass. I knew I should have, right? So it's added pound of flesh on top of the pound of flesh. Exactly. See, it sounds very funny. It doesn't always feel funny, but we're getting it. That's the idea. That's the idea. So it's up to us. Up to us. Start paying up front. How can we do it also? What about things already happened? So think like this. I have a student who told me recently, having money issues. I'm sure none of us can relate. And it doesn't matter whether you have money or not. A person has money issues, whether they have or they don't. So in this case, his business was going really well. He's been doing this business for a while and it's going well and going well and going well and going well. But even while it was going well, there were ups and downs, but generally going well. Of course, COVID hit. So a lot of his clients had to, stop the service, this, that, and the other thing. So what did the opponent put in his head? Wow, it's COVID. It's all because of COVID he has money issues now, right? Seems logical, doesn't it? Yes, because Satan, the opponent, is logical. What is time, space, and motion? Logic, right? We're here for whatever we are, 45 minutes or so, right? An event, okay, you got to be somewhere, our time 1:30, so you got to watch the time, right? It's logical. Got to leave 5 minutes early, 10 minutes, whatever it is. Space, it's 5 miles away, I need time. All logic, all logic. But the light is not logical. The true light in our soul is not logical. It's illogical. It's anti-logical. How do you know? How many of you ever had an intuitive thought jump in your head? Right? Now, 99.999% of the time, does that intuitive thought that we understand could come from the light, does it go right along with your logic most of the time? Most of the time, it's exactly the opposite. Your logic says go one way, 5 senses, And then you get that thought, boom, comes out of nowhere, seems completely illogical. Go back to the house, you're in your car, you're comfortable, ready to pull out of the driveway, says, no, go back and get XYZ, whatever it is. You say, you know, it doesn't make any logical sense. I don't see the need, I don't feel why bother, and then you drive away. And what happens sometime during the day? You look back and say, I knew I should have listened. Because now you need that thing you were supposed to go get. You follow? So the anti-logic is really the essence of our soul's message, the light's message. Now, don't go too far if you're new. Don't just start saying, well, so as Chaim's saying, you should pick a busy freeway, blindfold yourself, go against logic and just walk across the freeway. No, I'm not saying be stupid. I'm not saying be stupid. I just want to repeat it 3 times. I don't mean be stupid. We have to have a sense, because why? We're still caught. If, or when we're completely 100% channeling our light, and we have no essence of being controlled by the 5 senses, yes, conceptually, we could do that. I'm sure all the great Kabbalists of history could do such a thing. They probably wouldn't, but they could. You and I, we're not there. We still have our human part. Like you said, you still have a little fear, anger, greed, jealousy, whatever it may be. So don't try and do that kind of thing, but listen more to the voice of the light inside you. Pause. Ask for the help of the light. What do I do here? Do I need to do something? Do I need to, whatever it is? That's the point, right? We want to grow out of the human nature and reveal more of our divine nature. That's what we're learning to do. Because our divine nature, is the one that, sun pass, going along. Okay, so go back to the story. So here's this guy, he's having, okay. So, thank you, okay, great. They're not smiling here, okay? Yeah, okay, now they are. So he's having these money issues. So we have a session, and I took him to a place where he came to realize at 11 years old. Now the guy's in his late 40s. 11 years old, his parents got divorced. He ends up with a parent who has no money or has to struggle. And the parent who has money is the one who basically abandoned him. So one, he holds, like we might all, sense of abandonment, see if you can relate, sense of low self-worth. I mean, why would that parent, especially 11 years old, what are we all going to take in? Yeah, being abandoned, left, aside. So he takes that in. Then when he spends time with a parent who has money, can I have money for this, that, and that? No, go ask your mom. Go ask your mom. Go ask your mom. The one who doesn't have the money. He's got lots of money, but go ask the mom, right? And then even when it would come to something else, oh, I have the money, but I'm not giving it to you. So imagine what an 11-year-old takes in. And we all have done things like that. We're all sitting here with those kinds of memories. Now, what does science tell us? Energy can never be destroyed, only transformed. So when he as an 11-year-old took in the idea, one of abandonment, low self-worth, etc., he also took in, and this is the thing that in our session, I made him come to the realization of. He also put upon, in his mind, money makes bad people. So now imagine, what do you think is going to be the pattern of his life? If money makes bad people, forget the other parts. Money makes people do bad things or bad people or bad decisions, etc. Do you think he's going to want to attract? You think on a soul level he's going to, outside the brain says, yeah, I want money. I want to have a lot of money, buy a nice house, a car, this, that, and the other thing. But on the inside, his real self, what is he saying? What is his toll booth saying? You can't go past this because you believe money makes bad people or makes people do bad things. So even when he had money, he didn't use it in the right way. Came and went. Then, of course, he has no money. So now he's back to, with the help of the opponent, he's got to go get money, pay his bills. So he's running after the money. He's not realizing the money is already his. The Creator already gave it to him. All he's got to do is reveal it. No, because his 11-year-old still thinking he's not worthy, so he can't keep it. He's thinking money does bad things to people, so he can't hold on to it very long. Now he's got a nice cocktail of all the reasons why he shouldn't keep money. Okay, so what does he have to do? He can keep waiting. He can keep battering up against, well, COVID took away this and, try and fight COVID. He can take away, whatever. There's a competitor trying to take his clients. Now he's going to fight the competitor. As long as you fight on the outside, then you never pass that toll booth. And sadly, that's hell. In fact, those of you who watched it, Creating Heaven on Earth, one of the things I came to realize in those 3 classes, what's hell really? Now you're getting the benefit because I shared it here. Hell is blaming people, blaming something outside of you for your lot in life. That's what hell really is. Hell is not after a person dies because they did bad things, they go and there is a piece of that, and the Kabbalists explain it. But the hell on earth is when a person's never taking responsibility and always blaming someone else or something else for their trouble. He could blame COVID, took away his clients. That's why he has no money, right? Even when he had, somebody else took away his client, right? Or whatever it was. There was always something outside of him why it wasn't going the way he'd like it to go. That's hell. It's not? Exactly. But we don't have to live there. Why? Because the light is infinite. The light's already given us everything. All we have to do is manifest it, live into it. That's our job. So what does he have to do? He has to go back to his 11-year-old. You want to pay up front? He can keep back. Break that first. He has to go back to his 11-year-old. That's the best way. Heal the 11-year-old. Fix the 11-year-old. Now, what's the opponent telling us? But Chaim, that's 40 years ago. How's he going to go fix that? How can you fix something that's in the past? First, you got to realize it's not in the past. If it was in the past, you wouldn't be feeling it, would you? The fact you still feel upset about what happened when you were 11 years old means it's still here today. It didn't stay at 11 years old and now you move forward 20, 30, 40 years. No, you carried it with you every day of those 20, 30, 40 years. So it's in the present. So that's first. Then use the Kabbalistic tools. What's the path of the light? We said sun pass. How do you get a sun pass? Even in a simple physical way. You got to go to the office or go online, whatever. You got to pay up front. You pay up front. Now you can go right by all the toll booths. What do we learn in the Kabbalah Center? Pay up front. Go the way of the light. This is why, yes, there's no permission needed, but you still have to do work. But do it up front. This is where all of the tools, the Zohar, number 1, no more powerful tool than the Zohar. Use the Zohar, use your Anabakoach, use your 72 names, use the power, as we're going to do today, just a preset here. We're going to use this, we're going to take a few minutes of meditation, right? But use the power of these nano robots that are called the Hebrew letters. They are not language. Yes, we use them as a language, but they're not the language. Each one of these particles, each one of these light entities, they're light force particles. They shine the light of the Creator. Use them to awaken the light in your soul, pay up front, go right past it. Why? Because like we said, you feel some jealousy, go bless everybody for all their good. Whether you like them or not, bless their good. Be grateful for your good. Bless your good also. Now, zip right by. Zip right by. So use the tools because there's no permission needed to go to hell. That's just misuse of your free will. But we need permission then to get out of hell and get back to heaven. But as much as we can stay on the path of the light, then we just can stay in heaven on earth. So I realized today, we talk about two paths. So even in my mind, I imagine 2 paths like this, like an oval, or what do you call it? It's oval, right? It starts at one place, kind of goes out around the path of the light, the path of the opponent, and then it meets again, heaven on earth. Because both paths will get us to heaven on earth. Today I realized, no, it's just one street, like the 95 here in Florida. You drive up the 95 or whatever, the toll road, right? You go up the toll. To say it's one path, goes from beginning to end. But along the way, there's the toll, you stop at the toll or you pay your sun pass. So it's really only one path. There's only one path. It's going from the endless world through this world to heaven on earth. We're all on it. The issue is, do we have to stop at those toll booths and pay, or do we pay up front? That's what we're learning here. So we don't need permission to go to hell. We need permission to get out of hell, pay those tolls. If we stay on the path of the light, Creator doesn't need permission to get us to heaven, to get us anywhere. It's already given us everything. It's up to us. So, as we're closing up and then we'll do our meditations here, remember that we are one soul. There were no billions of people in the endless world. There was only one vessel, one soul. We came into this world, yes, we have the illusion of this world. We're in 7.5 billion different bodies, 7.5 billion different people. And therefore, the opponent gets in that space and says, well, I don't have to care about them. You and I, the spiritual people, of course, we'll say, I don't hate anybody. I don't hate anybody, so I'm not like those people. Yes, but if we haven't united ourselves with them, then we're not united. Simple. You take two pieces of paper and you just hold them together. How long will they stay together? As long as you hold them. But the moment you let go, whoosh, they'll come apart. What happens if you put a little glue on those papers? Now you're holding them, they're glued together. If you let go, do they fall apart? No, you glue them. That's why the Kabbalists call it, Rav Ashlag, the founder of the center, uses the term devakut. Our job is to cleave to the Creator, glue ourselves to the Creator, so there's no space. But it doesn't mean what most people think, okay, I'm gluing myself, I'm going to pray every day to God, I'm going to love God. No, that's not gluing yourself to the Creator. Gluing yourself to the Creator is knowing you're one soul, that those people out there, the good, the bad, and the ugly, are me. Their soul is a piece of my soul. They're not different. So I need to be glued to them because I need that connection to the light of God. If I'm really going to love God and glue myself to God, I got to glue myself to every piece of God. I don't have to like what they do. I don't have to hang out with them, but I got to glue myself to their soul. So I glue myself to their soul. Now I do that. Think like this. You ever, especially if you're a parent, it's easy for a parent or a loved one. You have a friend of yours, somebody you really love and care about. And as you're about to go to this big social event, you see your friend has a little splotch on their face. If you really love them, do you just let them go into the party or whatever with that splotch? What do? You help them wipe it off, yes? So let's think. Every one of the 7.5 billion people on earth are our loved ones. We need to connect to their soul. Yes or yes? Haven't used that in a long time. Yes or yes? Yes. Therefore, when they're misbehaving, it's not them. It's not their God self. It's the influence of their opponent. Like you and I, we misbehave once in a while. So our work, you and I as students of the Kabbalah Center, our work is the same way. Help them wipe off the splotch. Act with love. Help them. Kindness, love, compassion, all those good things. Bless them. That's our job, so we connect to the light in them. One, we go right by the toll booth, but also we're bringing them with us. We're showing them how to do it. Remember the first time when I first moved to Florida? I didn't understand the sun pass. I'm waiting in line with the toll booth. I see these people zipping right by. What do you think I want to know? Do I say, hey, I hate them. They're no good. Why are they doing that? Who do they know in the government? Right? You come up with all the excuses. Why they? No, what did I find out? I investigated. There's a sun pass. You pay up front and you go right by. So the same thing, when we're going on the path of the light and we're using our sun path, what do you think those people are going to want to know? They want to know how you're going right by the toll booth. So when you act like the light and you're showing greater love, kindness, and compassion, forgiveness and tolerance and generosity and humility, they'll want to come along also because they see how you're passing right by those toll booths. So you got to know we're one soul. Because in the end of the story, going back, I don't know why it's coming today so much, creating heaven on earth, the 3 classes I gave, what is the Messiah? Maybe we just need to know because we are so close. What does the Messiah really mean? It doesn't mean the guy coming in on the, on the donkey and all of that. And I don't care what religion, I'm not being disrespectful. I want us to understand consciousness of Messiah. What is the Messiah? And or when will he, there is a person, but you have to watch Creating Heaven on Earth. But the most important thing, in order to reach that level, what is the Messiah really? When enough of us are seeing the light in everybody, including ourselves, and we're acting upon the light, and we're sharing the light, and we're paying up front. When enough of us are doing that, then we create what's called the critical mass. The weight of the light on the balance of humanity will be more powerful than the influence of the darkness. That's what the Messiah really is. When there's a collective consciousness of love your neighbor as yourself, that those scales tilt to the side of the light. The sun pass, love your neighbor, kindness, love, compassion, forgiveness, etc. That's what the Messiah is. And then just like the scale. Once you tilt it that way, it just keeps going. And that's when we will be able to zip right along and find ourselves in heaven on earth, and looking behind it, everybody who's running with their sun paths to also join us in heaven on earth. God bless. Okay, so two things. Let's first do our offering. We'll bless our offering, and then we'll do our meditation on this name, which is heaven on earth, which we'll talk about in a second. But as we do every Sunday, I want to first and foremost just appreciate the fact that you're supporting us, that you appreciate and acknowledge what you get from the center, from Spiritual Sunday, etc., that you turn around, pay it forward. Help us help other people have access to the Zohar, to the tools, to this wisdom. Because the faster we do it, like we said, Mashiach, the Messiah, when enough of us have created a revealing, that critical mass of light, and this is the ways and means we speed up the process, and why we always take this minute to bless our offering. So just those of you, I've posted there where you can give online. Those of you here, just hold it in your hands, whatever your gift, whatever your offering, just to bless it. Money is a vessel that will go in the way that we send it. And so we put our love, our appreciation, our gratitude, the acknowledgement that everything we have, everything that we are, is the Creator. And we just want to be the pipeline, the channel, the conduit to bring all those blessings into the world. One, that it'll be revealed for us, because the potential doesn't bless us. It's when we make it manifest as actual by the sharing, that we have the blessing at the same time, bringing more light into the world, activating the heart and soul of other people, their godlike DNA. And so with love from the bottom of our heart, with gratitude and the light from our soul, we inject into this gift that will go through the center, speeding up the process to bring heaven on earth with peace, with mercy, with proactive transformation. And reveal heaven on earth in our days, in our time now. And together we say, Amen. So this is it. I hope I got a little wiser. You can see this, now that we have people here, for online. Yud Zayin Lamed, from right to left. Again, they look like Hebrew letters or Aramaic letters, but they're actually light force particles, like photons of the light of God. Eyes are the window to the soul. So as you just look at them, the light that shines out of them goes through your eyes, activates the DNA of the Creator inside to a higher level. In this case, this combination, it's from the 72 names of God, which you can study more of online. This is activating heaven on earth. So I thought it'd be very appropriate for today. Yud Zayin Lamed. So just let the shapes form an image in your mind's eye. And then, if I can ask you, just close your eyes, sit comfortably. Feet on the floor, hands on your lap. Just take a few deep breaths to relax. Breathe in through the nose, hold the breath for a moment, exhale through the mouth. Just begin feeling that you're immersed in the light of the Creator, held metaphorically in the hands of God. Enveloped in this light, this love, this warmth. Envisioning this combination, Yud Zayin Lamed, allowing a beam of light from the endless world coming down through these light force particles, Yud Zayin Lamed, and extending to the top of your head. And then let this light activate all the light in every cell of your body as it flows from head to toe. Feeling and envisioning yourself as a pure, radiant being of light. And now from your heart, take a beam of that light of heaven on earth, that spiritual sun pass. Shine it out to heal and transform those two issues that you thought of, whether it's fear, sense of lack and limitation, insecurity, jealousy. Just send the light out to all the people in your life of kindness, forgiveness, tolerance, generosity, humility. Heaven on earth contains all the remedies to transform any and all form of chaos, darkness, and confusion. Let it shine out of you through all the people in your life, expanding the borders of your heaven on earth. And now let it expand more. Till it's expanded to your country, the whole country, everyone in it living in heaven on earth, peaceful, loving, unified. And together in unity, let us expand the borders of that heaven on earth to include the entire earth. Every person on earth, every place on earth. That we can feel it and see the entire world as the Garden of Eden. Heaven on earth, peace and love, serenity and tranquility. Allow yourself to feel that and engrave this feeling, these thoughts, the awareness that it is here. As we see it in our mind's eye, so it is. Engrave it in your heart and in your mind that from this moment forward, we're going to act with more unconditional love, shining our light as our pure light being, and making these feelings and this vision manifest for all to see and all to live. Yud Zayin Lamed. Enjoy the feeling, the sensation you have now. That it will stay with us from this moment forward. Together we take one more deep breath to anchor it in, keep it with us, commit ourselves to this path, and exhale and slowly open your eyes. Those of you online, thank you for joining us. Have an amazing week. I know some of you are up very late at night to be with us, so I appreciate that and your support and your sharing these. And please write, share with me whatever your transformation, whatever your questions even may be, might show up as another Spiritual Sunday. Meanwhile, just be blessed, have a blessed week, and make sure you're blessing other people. Lots of love and light. Thank you for joining us. If you were inspired and enjoyed what you saw, click the subscribe button so that you can be notified when we put new videos. Also, share it with people. Let other people benefit from this wisdom to change their life for the better also. And if you haven't yet, go to the website www.kabbalah.com, spelled Kabbalah, and peruse the hundreds and thousands of classes and articles we have on a variety of Kabbalistic subjects to help inspire you, motivate you, and help you transform your life. And if you would like to support us and help us expand our programs, this program, Spiritual Sunday, and the other projects of the Kabbalah Center, then see the donation link in the description. And thank you for your support. Have a blessed day.